never looking at them side by side. There are tons of never-before-seen facts that get completely hidden from us when Dragon Ball Super gets dubbed. Just how much does the English change from the original Japanese version? Is it enough to completely ruin an entire battle? See for yourself in this scene from Dragon Ball Super Episode 60, where Vegeta goes at Goku Black with his true Saiyan power.
That energy, do you sense it? They're on their way now.
Is it Zamasu?
And Black too. It's okay.
Instantly, there's already something the dub has changed. While it may be true that they've got to match up their words as best they can to the mouth movements of the original Japanese, there are things that the English has just proven they don't need to match up at all. In the sub, regardless of the fact the two villains who've completely ruined these people's lives are close by, the crowd barely makes a sound. You could argue that Goku Black and Zamasu randomly popping up like this has become something they're used to by now, and therefore this is nothing shocking to them. But in the dub, the people react as you'd expect, with gasps of fear. What do you guys think? Is there a reason the sub chose not to make as much of a commotion here? Let's see if they continue with this particular difference.
Mina! ここから出ないで!
大丈夫。絶対大丈夫。
Everyone else stay here!
Don't worry, Mai. Trunks is gonna be just fine.
You see how the changes did continue? While both versions start off with future Trunks telling everyone to stay where they are, the dub added in some comforting words from him as well. But not only that, the dub also changed up Bulma's reassurance to future Mai. The relationship between Trunks and Mai is something that's obvious, yet never stated right out during Dragon Ball Super. The sub seems to be feeding off of this vague sense of secrecy, whereas the dub is making it more well known by having Bulma focus on Trunks being okay rather than just the situation in general. A pretty nice touch, don't you think? Thing is, this was a pretty easy scene to add extra emotion in like that. Might not be so easy now that this scene is shifting towards the fight between Vegeta and Goku Black. Let's see how the English dub handles this. I want you to pay attention not as much to the actual words Vegeta just said, but more so to the way he said it. The sub makes the uncertainty of how they'll win this time around without any kind of plan pretty obvious. But check out how the dub changes it and see if they start to ruin this scene or not.
I told you we needed a plan, yet here we are. Oh, relax. I'm sure we'll find a way.
Yes, the words did change up quite a bit, but remember that we're focusing more on the way he's saying this. Vegeta doesn't sound as uncertain about their chances this time. Instead, he sounds more annoyed and frustrated. Both versions get the point across that they're going into this fight blind, but they do it pretty differently. The choice as to who did it better is up to you guys, Anifam. When you're looking at it from Vegeta's perspective, the English sub continues to make the situation feel very iffy. The English dub, however, takes a completely different turn while sticking to the more annoyed type of feeling they've given to Vegeta. You guys might even get a laugh out of this.
Always do. Sure, except for all the times that we've died.
You gotta admit the humor does match Vegeta's annoyance for Goku's always carefree nature. However, some of you might not like that the dub decided to throw this in when the situation at hand is something very serious. No matter how you look at it though, the danger is impossible to ignore once they meet up with Zamasu and Goku Black, and what you might pick up on is a more sarcastic style of confidence coming from these enemies in the dub, compared to a more calm emotion coming from them in the sub.
I see you have returned, dear Saiyans. Zamasu, welcome back. I do appreciate you returning so I can become even stronger.
Do you guys agree with me, Anifam? Does the difference in what these villains said make our scene better or just super mess it up? Including the clip you just saw, the biggest changes we've seen the English dub add to the original Japanese version of this scene from Dragon Ball Super Episode 60 is based off of emotions. While many of you love the originality of the Japanese and can even find it hard to watch it in any other way, this adding of emotions is one of the reasons I hear a lot of the Anifam members saying they prefer the dub. I can already hear some of you though. There's no denying that the English language is more descriptive by default, so adding emotion is instantly easier to do. But, as with the crowd in our first clip, this next part adds something without any words at all. Before watching this same part in English, keep in mind the simplicity of how you just saw Vegeta power up. Now, you're gonna have to pay very close attention, because the change, while effective, is hard to notice.
This'll be no repeat of our last fight!
Did you notice it? So once again, you did hear the descriptions in the dub being more emotional, as we just said is easier to do in English. But what was the change in the way Vegeta powers up? Look at just that part one more time. Just by having Vegeta grunt as he powers up makes it easier for us to feel these two things. The first being the power that his Super Saiyan Blue form just gave to him. The second is a reminder of the frustration he's feeling, both with the problem of not having a strategy to beat Goku Black and Zamasu, but also with this whole situation in general. Because this is a very messed up world that Vegeta knows his son has been having to live in, and that's something that he's about to use as fuel for his true Saiyan power. But just as he targets Goku Black, we find something that hasn't really happened so far in this video.
Vegeta, what about the plan? All I know is that I'm taking Black! Oh, okay, that works for me!
So Anifam, did you find it? And I'm not talking about the pretty big difference between what Vegeta and Goku said either. We'll get to that in just a second. In this video, we've seen quite a few changes that had less to do with word choice and more to do with emotions. But in this specific part of our scene, we find that although the words have changed, the emotion has remained the same. This is a really serious moment, yet in both the dub and sub, Goku's carefree self comes out loud and clear. So what about the changes to what Goku and Vegeta said then? Remember what we picked up on earlier about the character change in Vegeta. The sub keeps him serious, whereas the dub makes him seem more comically annoyed. Well, that gets brought back up here as well. Check it out again.
All I know is that I'm taking Black!
As you can see, Vegeta in the Japanese version is very focused on getting Goku Black out of the way. While you can't say he isn't showing these same feelings in the dub, here's what we can say they changed. What Vegeta said in the English version isn't really funny, but it does have a slight comical feel to it, matching what the dub has been doing with his personality so far in this scene. Does this ruin the feeling of danger coming from Goku Black? Well, let's see what changes they made to Goku's part.
Oh, okay, that works for me!
So for the sub, focusing on Goku's word choice alone, he sounds more excited than anything for this so-called strategy. It's when you listen to the tone of his voice that you pick up this feeling like you just want to smile or laugh. However, in the dub, his word choice doesn't show that same excitement for an actual plan. He's more laid back, just sitting by as Vegeta does whatever it is that Vegeta wants to do. Both versions get you to smile, but which one really got to you? With both versions having already put a smile on our faces, they've prepared us well for this. Don't notice anything different here, Anifam? Then think back to the moment in our scene, where Vegeta first powered up to Super Saiyan Blue. The only change between the dub and sub was his grunt. While a tiny difference, this was still something that added to the effect of his more powerful form, as well as his frustrations. In the same way, we find in the clip you just saw that the sub doesn't have much sound other than the clash of punches. The dub, on the other hand, you can hear their struggle more clearly by adding realistic noises behind the throwing of their punches. But our next clip isn't quite as similar. So here we have something pretty simple, right? Goku Black trying to get under Vegeta's skin. But the dub changes this up by adding in a completely brand new line.
You'd love nothing more than to defeat me. You crave it. Since you lost so easily last time.
Since it could potentially ruin a perfectly good scene, adding in brand new ideas like this is a dangerous thing to do. So why did they? What did us viewers get from something like this? We stopped feeling like viewers and suddenly we're able to tap into Vegeta's emotions. Adding just that little bit of fuel to the fire Goku Black was already creating in the sub, the dub has his words starting to get to our emotions as well. making it so much easier to connect to Vegeta when he says this.
俺がお前を倒したいのは自分のためじゃない。トランクスとこの未来のためだ。
Here's one thing you can't deny. Dragon Ball Super showed us a more caring side to Vegeta, something that we're seeing especially in this clip. But watch how the dub makes a difference, and then tell me which way is better to you.
I didn't come to this wasteland you created for myself. It's for my son, so this Earth can have a future.
That statement in the English dub was pretty bold, wouldn't you agree? It's funny how Goku Black responds to this though. After watching his reaction, you'll see just how ironic what he's saying is.
Well, that's not very Saiyan of you.
Do you feel the irony, Anafan? Something we've learned over the course of Dragon Ball Super is that Saiyans become strongest when they care about something very deeply. Either version you look at, Vegeta has shown exactly what his true Saiyan power is, the love for his son, Trunks. I'm having a $500 giveaway for the Anafan members. Best way to win is clicking the notification bell. I'll wait for 3 seconds. 3, 2, more details in pinned comment and description, and 1.